I set the microphone back to the default settings because I sounded a bit weird on the other ones. Where was I? So I screwed up the end fight in my other world. So I'll have to go and rebuild my house, which, you know, maybe I'll make it a little bit more practical, but I can test out in creative mode some ideas, you know, to make it my own. Funny that they have yams and sweet potato as like separate separate crops, even though those are just different words for the same thing. I think here usually you say yam when it's like cooked and prepared in a certain way, usually with sugar and butter or something. Forgot how I got that, but I did. And since my other world, I'd made a lot of progress on it, I just carried over the same items I had. My ruby chest plate broke. Having a lot of muscle spasms right now. Last time I went to the ER, did not go well. Like they wanted to waste my time, and I was already sleep deprived, so I had to leave early. And they couldn't find the vein in my arm the first go around, so that was just very stupid and uncomfortable. The nurse I had was just incompetent, and yeah, I don't really want to go back. So, and I'm feeling like I'm reaching a breaking point, I guess. Like, yeah, like I feel like in the next few weeks or so, either things start to clear up for me or I just die, you know. And who really cares? I'm not saying like nobody cares about me. Of course people would care if I died, but I wouldn't. Ginger, yep. Okay. I had a sorry, I'm gonna have points where I cut off for no reason. That's just because my jaw is having spasms. But I had a rooster named Ginger. He was a very tiny bantam, but very aggressive. Kind of got into a gang with this other rooster we had and slowly basically turned evil. It was just to, you know, not to get picked on by the other one, but we had to send both of them off to a different place. We didn't kill them. We've never killed a chicken, but we can't keep those, especially when there's a lot of roosters. You usually can't have more than 2 roosters at one time. One to be the dominant and the other to be submissive. It's an interesting dynamic. I like chickens a lot. I grew up with them being basically the #1 pet for me. Like, I knew all the different breeds, and I categorized the chickens that we had, and I cried when they died and stuff, and it was just interesting to see the dynamics that they had shift and change over time, and when one's died, sometimes there's a dominant hen or rooster. We've only had 1 egg hatch ever. Whoa. We've only had 1 egg hatch ever, and he's currently the main rooster. He recently killed his dad, who was the head rooster before that, but it was just clear that Chip, sorry, I have muscle spasms, that's why I made that noise, but Chip, his dad, he just was not built for the job, but there was no other rooster at the time, so when, jeez, so many muscle spasms, but when this, rooster came into, like, maturity, I guess, it was just clear that he was bigger, and I guess there wasn't room for both of them. I was still pretty shocked, because they seemed to be getting along pretty well, but it just didn't work out. But Chip was never meant to be the head rooster, though the one before him just absolutely dominated him, but then got a debilitating foot disease or something and slowly deteriorated and died. Arrow was his name. Just very awesome rooster. Another awesome rooster we had was Gus. He was a Wyandotte, a golden Wyandotte, and my goodness, he was massive and so nice. Like, he dominated the other roosters, but only like when he had to, I guess. Before him, the smaller roosters, the bantams, that were like an eighth of his size, were ruling the pack. But when we got rid of them, we had one nice bantam left, Peep, and he ruled for a little bit, and then Gus took over, because Peep was just God, he was the funniest little guy ever. Oldest rooster we ever had too, so he outlasted everyone. But Gus died protecting the flock. There was a possum that got in to the coop, and it was still surprising because Gus was significantly bigger than a possum, but you know, possums are tricky and vicious. But no other chicken died that night, so it was just Gus, and he will always be the hero of my childhood. Just so awesome. But yeah, Peep was dominated by the other bantams. Then when we got rid of them, he took over for a little bit, and then Gus took over, and then Gus died, so he was the last remaining. And then we got Arrow, who, when he matured, easily took over, and then Arrow died, Peep took over again, and then Chip took over, because Peep was just too old. He couldn't handle him, even though Chip was, you know, just a wuss. Peep, even though he was just the most battle-scarred little guy, he was a Bantam Wyandotte, so he was just a little spotted white and black. He had scars all over himself, but yeah, just couldn't quite handle him, and he died peacefully of old age, because Chip wouldn't attack him or anything. He just asserted his dominance and then stopped once he gave up his reign. And it's always interesting to see the hens too, how they interact with the roosters. Like, of course, you've got the rooster's favorite hen, you know, for mating and shit, but they always get treated very nicely. They're, you know, they always get the food and whatnot, but and they always live very long too. That's an important note, I feel. But like, Hen Solo has been, I think, 4 different roosters' favorite hen. And she's been laying for, you know, 9 years, I think, at this point. She might be 9, maybe 10. But yeah, I mean, she's awesome. And she's the one that laid the egg for the chicken that hatched, which is Yahtzee, the rooster, who is currently in control. So yeah, and he's see, Arrow, who is also his breed, was albino, so he was white, Americana. He was an albino Americana, just, and he had like a rainbow feather, like his around here on him. There was like a rainbow thing, and just unbelievably stunning, and I mean strong. Like, he's just the most attractive the most attractive rooster ever. But Yahtzee is the complete opposite. He's just fully pitch black in every way. Still awesome looking, but you know, it's just very interesting that we haven't had a normal Americana rooster. Albino and I forgot the like all black term, but I know there is one. Very rare for both. Albino especially. And the golden wine dot Gus also was rare. And then we have, of course, a lot of other hens. We had like an intersex hen that would like, not crow, but more like they, I should say, were very interesting. Clearly didn't try to fit in with any pack, but never got picked on. Their color was a really dark shade, and it was just like clear that there was something different about them. Their name was Moon. Yeah, like one of my favorite chickens ever. Devastated when she died, of course, but yeah. Then Olivia was the first chicken we ever got. She lived 13.8 years or something like that, which was a record for us. And then later, we've had plenty of chickens live to 13. 11 to 13 is usually when they die of old age for us. I hear that that's quite unusual, like unusually long, but you know, we have a pretty nice spot, very happy. We kick out the overly aggressive roosters, so you know, things work out. But yeah, Olivia was just, my god, we did so much for her. When she was getting old, she couldn't get into the coop, so we had to like bring her in every night, and she was like ostracized from the coop for a little bit, like towards the end of her life, and we had to put a crate for her just outside, and when it was raining and muddy, we had to tend for her and stuff. It was just like, we cared so much about her as a family. Like, she was truly almost on the level of a dog. But no one will be as impactful or important as Harry was. Our dog that recently died at 14. But we've had older chickens. One that did not die of old age, and I still cannot get over it. Basically, my dad, adopted dad, didn't check frequently enough for holes, and our 14-and-a-half-year-old bantam named Brown Stripe, who, oh god, she was the best, like the best chicken we've ever had. And like, so many memories of like her chasing us and us chasing her around in the garden, and teaching her to lay on her back so we could pet her like a dog, you know, like her stomach, and she didn't care at all about anything we did. Like, you could just run up to her in the most aggressive way and she knew you weren't doing shit. Like, she was the smartest. But, she was also the smallest chicken we ever had, and so when you don't check frequently enough for holes, the smallest chickens can escape when, rats, you know, open a hole, or it just gets worn away eventually. And so this one day she was just gone, my dad, I know that he feels bad about it still. Like, he usually doesn't care about chickens, but he's pissed at himself, and he knows how pissed I am at him for that. Because she was just, like, everybody loved her, just, oh my god. And her sister lived longer than her. We got 2 bantams in that batch. Brown stripe and black stripe. Guess what they looked like when they were, you know, a chick. One had a brown stripe, one had a black stripe. And so that's exactly what I named them when I was 3 years old. Or actually 5, yeah, 5. Because 3 is when we got the first chickens, which was Olivia, Lucifer, which we named the rooster because he was vicious, absolutely nightmarish. He was Olivia's counterpart, and we got rid of him pretty fast after he attacked my sister. She still has the scar from it too. Like, yeah. I mean, he was nice at times though. Like, we have recordings, and I don't think he was as bad as we remember. Like, I would like to go back and meet him if I could, but yeah, definitely long gone by now. But yeah, black stripe lived the longest of any chicken. I don't think she made it to 15, but damn close. And I think the oldest chicken recorded, like with proof, was 16. Possibly, I think there's evidence there's an 18-year-old chicken. Some information's, you know, shaky or whatever on that. It's, you know, of course, as chickens, there's probably not much regulation on that kind of thing, but God, I loved every single chicken we've ever had. There was a certain point where I just stopped going up there because it was uncomfortable for me. You know, because I basically had to take a shower every time I got done visiting them because the dust and stuff, I felt contaminated. Which, you know, I can relate to autism, I guess. Probably similar to like how ARFID is for eating. Ooh. Okay. Similar how ARFID is to eating. It's just like if I eat something gross, I'll feel gross all over and like it won't go away. But with just being in uncomfortable situations, being a little bit overheated, I will just feel contaminated until I either wash my face, which kind of relieves it for a little bit and only half, or just take a full shower, or sleep if it really comes down to that, and then take a shower. Like, that's a full reset. But yeah, it just kind of got a bit much for me to visit them all the time. And I do miss that era of my life, because they were just so interesting, like the social dynamics within the groups and whatnot. Because I knew all of them personally, and so I knew what every movement and little interaction was. Everything mattered. Like I was watching a sitcom, I guess, take place. You know, like every fight that happens between them matters in the long run, and it was all in context. And yeah, so fun. Clearly, you can see I get really invested in anything I care about. And I really cared about chickens, so yeah. Do I think it's moral to have chickens? No, but you know, only as pets and in specific ways, you know. Like contributing to the egg and, you know, selling chickens industry isn't good, so like rescuing them from a spot is the only moral way to do that. But, and of course, like not exploiting them for eggs is ideal. Feeding them back their eggs occasionally is healthy for them, but yeah, chickens usually aren't supposed to lay once a day, you know, but they're bred to do that now. So sometimes you'll get chickens that just do not last age-wise. And we've always avoided them, like leghorns. They only live about 4 years max. And like they die of old age. It's not like they're prone to disease or anything like that. Like they just die of old age. Very strange. Oh. What other interesting stuff related to chickens? Humid air. It's raining. Jeez. I woke up 12 hours ago, but you know, it was a 10 p.m. And being awake through the night, like when the sun rises, you feel very fatigued. So, like, it's different. Like, you need to sleep sooner, it feels. Of course, there's a certain point in the day where you start to kind of hallucinate, I guess, or just be in more bliss after feeling tired, that you just kind of feel more energy. That's somewhat what's going on right now. Like, I usually don't have the energy to talk this much. Here I am. I hope it's interesting. Probably is more interesting to someone who knows things about chickens or cares about chickens, which, you know, there's two requirements that probably don't apply to 99.999% of the population. But it might be interesting to hear someone who does care about that kind of thing talk about it. I wouldn't know. So, usually don't do that. Why don't I listen to people talk about their interests? Because one, I just, you know, it doesn't affect me, I guess, and I could be spending that time on my interests. But the main reason is just I don't trust people, I guess. Like, if I was interested in the same thing, I wouldn't trust their opinions on it over my own. Whether that be, like, an intellectual thing or just, like, a specific person thing, you know? Because everyone feels differently about different things, and so how someone interacts with their interests would be completely irrelevant to me. But of course, it could be someone's interest to listen to other people talk about their interests, even if they're not interested in it at all. And I do appreciate that. I just can't relate. And that's okay. Same spot 3 times in a row. Fortune 1. Like, fortune anything is almost a necessity at this point in the game. I don't know if I have that mod. I'm thinking of one. I don't have enough deep slate. Okay. Wait. I can just check with a few. I don't need to fully craft a piece of bedrock. Okay, no, I don't. Yeah. Wait, it is cobbled deep slate, so I'm not sure if that's important, but So that guy gave me a bunch of gold, and now I can trade it for one more. Her. It's doubling. It's nice. Oh, cat. Do I have cat? Nope. Okay. Gotta use him for something, right? Ah, okay. Interesting. Bedrock crafter. So you need to compact both obsidian in 9x9, and then you need 9 of these. I mean 8 of these to go around, and then the compacted 9x9 obsidian in the middle to get 1/9 of a bedrock piece. So it's a lot, like a full 9x by 64 of smelted deep slate, and a full stack and a little bit of obsidian. I think it's 64 and then 16, but don't really have a purpose for bedrock right now, but it is interesting and nice that you can craft it with the mod. Ooh. I had to get rid of the Regions Unexplored mod because it doesn't have compatibility with Croptopia, and I couldn't edit where, like, how the crops show up. But it's hard to know because like I want full compatibility with the Let's Do and Croptopia. God, having Heartburn too, which is just great on top of everything. I took an antacid, so that should go away soon, but you know. I'm debating whether to like go out of my way to request Croptopia integration, or see if Terralith and whatnot has it, because Terralith is a great you know, like add-on for world generation, but Geolithic is the most perfect and vanilla-like update, I guess. And so I think I'm just going to keep it like this. Because, you know, adding too much, it's a fine line. I also debated quite a long time to, on whether to use End Remastered, which is the issue that I was having and why I needed to reset this world, because I had Savage Ender Dragon on, and also the Young's Better End Island, which just made it impossible to beat. And so I took the Savage Ender Dragon off, and the End Remastered works with the Young's Better End Island, so that's awesome, and also End Stronghold. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It takes a long time to get to the end, but I do like it. And yeah, I'm debating whether to include stuff like a more difficult end fight, because right now it's mostly sorry, I'm having muscle spasms. It's mostly vanilla, but to get there is very difficult. So I know there's plenty of mods that can make it more difficult, but you know. I've been modding Minecraft since I was very young, 10 I think. So yeah, that was 2013 when I first started modding on like the old Feed the Beast launcher. Oh man, yeah, I even like bought one of their shirts and stuff. Like, it was I was big into it. Interesting to see how things have changed over the years, like mods that have aged out, and like super interesting. I could never get bored with it, even like not even playing the game, just purely modding and making it like as specific to the niche I'm trying to make for a mod pack, like just making it as perfect as possible. I get so much out of that. And it is interesting. I don't care if anyone sees it or plays it or anything like that. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why. I'm not gonna ask any questions. I get a lot of satisfaction out of it, but I don't know why. Even if I don't play it at all, even if no one sees it, knows about it, plays it, whatever, I still get satisfaction out of it. kind of like collecting things, I guess. But for a very specific niche. Yeah. Yesterday I found an old Pokemon book that like went over all the different Pokemons, and oh my god, the nostalgia. Oh, was not prepared for that. That was such a big part of my childhood too. Like, I collected Pokemon cards and baseball cards as like my first hobby outside of actually playing baseball. Yeah, like my first major hobby. Of course, I grew up in a wooded area, so technically my first hobby was just going outside and playing with sticks and whatnot and creating worlds in my mind. But yeah, like my first traditional hobby would be collecting Pokemon and baseball cards alongside playing baseball, which I played for an undefeated team. Jeez. Through 2 years of Little League. Yeah, I gotta stop consistently talking, because the more fatigue my jaw feels, the more likely the muscle is to spasm, because the electrolytes aren't reaching it if it's fatigued. I don't really know how that works, but that is generally how it works. I don't know if I've been down here. This is an interesting spot, though. Is this Alex's mobs that adds Kingers? Yep. Yep. I think the mods I have are Naturalist, which I think adds mobs, and Alex's mobs. Two of the best mods I've ever come across that aren't like quality of life, simple things. I do wonder if there's a mod that makes you immediately bring out, like, to where, like, the delay for where it actually blocks is nothing. Like, there's no delay. Because, I feel like that would be just better, smoother, you'd feel less clunky. Like, still keep this animation, but sometimes the animation breaks and it just pops up immediately. I don't know. Right, so I did cheat to... I was responding to my own thought. I wasn't replying to, I'm not schizophrenic, surprisingly. But I did technically cheat to, get my levels and my previous stuff, but, I got basically cheated by the game for having an impossible end because I didn't check beforehand. So it's partly my fault, partly the modder's fault for not integrating, but that's how you become a better mod pack creator. You just trial and error. So I still have to learn how to find all the different eyes, like Eyes of Ender. I know. You know, like different structures they're in, but like just kind of getting that fully locked in my head, like what I have to do instead of just kind of going around. But I do think that's more how you want to play the game. It's not just, oh, get blaze rods, get ender pearls, and then go. Like, you actually have to get all the boss structures and like actually go into the ruins of places to get stuff, like actually exploring rather than just going to very specific spots and just kind of grinding it out. I don't like that aspect of the game. So the End Remastered will fix that. Even though it is a bit complicated. Here, instead of just wandering around, let me just check that out.